Hello, namaskar, namaskara, namaskaram, namaskar. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Welcome to my class. In today's class, we are going to discuss quickly those important bills that have been recently passed at the monsoon session of the 17th Lok Sabha. The 17th Lok Sabha was one of the least productive sessions in the history of the parliament. But still, the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha put together passed 23 bills. It would be very interesting for us to know that there were at least 10 bills which could take only 1 hour of discussion. The Lok Sabha functioned only half the amount of time it was scheduled to do so. The Rajya Sabha could function for 55% of the time that it was scheduled to do so. On August 11th, the House of the Parliament was adjourned sine die. That means the sitting was abandoned for an indefinite amount of time. So we are going to discuss important bills today. From the perspective of our examination, make sure that you subscribe to my Telegram channel by the name of Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. You will get all the PDFs here. Other than this, if you want to talk to me on my Instagram, it will be available through my Instagram channel as well. As in, if you want to talk to me about this examination of UPSC. The monsoon session began on 20th of July and the adjournment sine die happened on 11th of August. 17 sittings took place over a span of 23 days. 20 bills were introduced in the Lok Sabha, 5 were introduced in the Rajya Sabha and 22 bills were passed by the Lok Sabha. 25 bills were passed by the Rajya Sabha separately, but together they could pass 23 bills. So out of these 23 bills, we are going to discuss about the important ones. Okay, so these are the certain important bills that were introduced in the Lok Sabha, which included the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Bill of 2023, Digital Personal Data Protection Bill, the Pharmacy Bill of 2023, Anusandhan National Research Foundation Bill of 2023, certain important ones. Then others for Rajya Sabha included the Cinematograph Bill, Advocates Bill, Press and Registration of Periodical Bills, Post Office Bill and CEC and other Election Commissioners Bill as well. So, bills which have been passed by both the houses of the parliament include these many, such as the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Bill, Biological Diversity Bill, Mines and Minerals Bill, Forest Amendment Bill. So these are the certain bills which are passed by both the houses of the parliament. That means passed in the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha. Now, when it will get the assent of the president, it will be enacted as an act. Okay, moving on. Now, I would like to inform you that if you like the way we teach, you can be a part of our UPSC batch, foundation batch as well. This is the P2I batch. Prelims, mains, interviews, all three are covered. So do not worry about anything else. Once you are a part of this batch will be of evening and it will start on 23rd. These will be live classes. That means you will be able to interact with the teachers. Test series, daily answer writing practice, current affairs module and a mains residential program is also included here. So whoever wants to take admission, make sure that you use the code PDLive so that you can get in any one of these batches, Hindi, English or English, with just rupees 29,999. See you soon at the StudyIQ campus. Now, first bill that we are going to talk about is the Cinematograph Bill of 2023. The major aim is to curb piracy, movie piracy. The film industry here, a lot of people are dependent for their livelihood. So, in order to curb piracy, it is important we bring a more stringent act. Also, in order to ensure that we are going ahead with the world, we are going to revamp age-based restriction or age-based certification now. So according to this, it will all work. And it will bring uniformity in the categorization of film as well as content across different platforms. Piracy will be a criminal violation which will be punishable up to how many years? 3 years, because UPSC prelims can ask us that. In prison, a fine of up to 5% of the production cost of the film, which is huge. Other than this, also you have to keep in mind, these are either or both. First substantial amendment has been done to the Cinematograph Act of 1953. So old. Since 1984, when the minimum punishment for a offence relating to a video film was introduced back then. Moving on. CBFC is the authority to grant films with a separate certificate for their display on television or other media. And this can be separately. Because only unrestricted public exhibition UA category of films can come on the television. The board may also refuse the exhibition of films. This authority has been given to it. The bill allows for blocking of websites and URLs which are going to host pirated content under the Information Technology Act. So blocking has become possible. Now we cannot download any movie like that. Okay. It leads to the coverage of online gaming content and online advertising as well. It will curb the transmission of pirated film content on the internet because it was a lot during the pandemic period, and will address the issue of unauthorized recording and exhibition of film. However, certain exemptions are there. I will take you through that as well. It will prohibit carrying out or abetting unauthorized recording and exhibition of film. So piracy will not be done. It's a criminal violation now. Exemptions include if you're recording for private or personal use, like we upload certain clips of the movies, like that. Reporting of current affairs, review or for critique of the work, and the certificates will be perpetually valid. Earlier it was only for 10 years, whatever the CBFC used to give. Okay, so now it will be for unlimited period of time. Okay, so CBFC can give or certify any movie for unlimited period of time. Remember that. Okay, moving on. Next is the Constitution Scheduled Tribe Order 3rd Amendment Bill of 2023. Through this, inclusion of Hatti community of Transgiri area of the Sirmaur district of the Himachal Pradesh has taken place in the list of scheduled tribes. Then another one is there. It aims for inclusion of Bhuiya and Bhoya committee, which are synonyms for the Bharya Bhumiya community, which will include Dhanuar, Dhanuvar, Kisan, Saundra and Bhinja communities, which will be in the scheduled tribes of Chhattisgarh. Three Devanagari version of the name of the Pando community in Chhattisgarh it is. So whenever any group has to be scheduled as a scheduled tribe, it will work according to certain articles. Article 366 clause 25, which says that according to Article 342, it will be President who will be in consultation with the governor of the state or the union territory who has suggested that these kind of tribes should be in the scheduled tribe. So a process has been given, but there is no set criteria in the constitution. Constitution doesn't say that if any scheduled tribe is, checking these tick boxes, then it will be a scheduled tribes. Although there are certain conventions on which we can say a tribe can be a scheduled tribe, such as economic backwardness, geographical isolation, shyness of contact. All these are conventional, but never given in the constitution. Then the Biological Diversity Act of Bill of 2023. It seeks to address concerns of several ministries, be it central, state government, researchers, industries, and other stakeholders. It will do the implementation of the 20-year-old law that is meant to preserve the country's biological diversity and ensure its sustainable use. We are talking about the India's Biological Diversity Act of 2002, which established the National Biodiversity Authority, and it prescribes, basically this is a regulatory body. It regulates the process and it prescribes the condition in and purposes for which biological resources could be utilized. It could be either for scientific or commercial usage. Okay. And now we have to understand that it means to encourage the Indian system of medicines like Ayurveda. In order to ensure that Indian Ayurvedic industry grows, foreign direct investments come. That is why we have done this. It will attract more foreign investment in the preservation and commercial utilizations of biological resources of India. It will simplify and streamline the processes so that it is easy for everyone to comply with its provision. It doesn't become very hassle one. Then it will reduce the pressure on wild medicinal plants. Why? Through the encouragement of planting of medicinal plants. That we do not just invade the forest, we can also cultivate medicinal plants in areas. It will encourage the Indian system of medicine, the Ayurveda. Traditional medicine is something also we are working a lot hard upon. It will facilitate fast tracking of research, patent application process, transfer of research result as well, while utilizing the biological resources which are available in India. That means if any company wants to hasten the process of the result of whatever research that has been taking place, it will be now eased. Also, it will be without compromising the objectives of the United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity and the related Nagoya Protocol, so that the biodiversity can also be preserved. It will decriminalize certain provisions, although hefty penalties are there. It will bring more foreign investment in the chain of biological resources, which will include research, patent, and commercial utilization. All right. Certain categories of users of biological resources have also been exempted from making payments towards the access and benefit sharing, so that more Indian doctors, when it comes to Ayurveda, who are working upon, can take the benefit of it. Companies which have been registered in India and controlled by Indians will now be treated as foreign companies. It doesn't matter if equity is foreign in nature, okay? Still, they will be treated as Indian companies, which will make the process easier. Provisions have been included to speed up the approval process in cases of use of biological resources in scientific research or for filling of patent application. Okay. Then next is the Mines and Minerals Amendment Bill of 2023, which wants to engage the private sector in the mining of certain critical minerals, because it is important to engage the private industry when it comes to it. China, we are hugely dependent on China for critical minerals. These are those minerals. If they are not available with India, our economic development can be reduced. So that is why we are doing it. It will allow the private sectors to mine 6 out of 12 atomic minerals. Before this, all 12 were reserved for only the state. And lithium is included in it. Lithium, which is used for manufacturing batteries of electric vehicles, laptops, mobile phones. Lithium is used everywhere. So another also include beryllium, niobium, titanium, tantalum, and zirconium. Central government will exclusively auction whatever mining lease they want to auction, and deep-seated minerals are also included, such as gold, silver, copper, zinc, lead, nickel, cobalt, platinum group of minerals. This will give a push to digital India. And now next is Offshore Areas Minerals Amendment Bill of 2023. In here, a fixed 50-year production lease for offshore minerals will be given. It will create a transparent auction route for allocation of minerals. It will grant production lease to private sector only through auction by competitive bidding. What kind of auction could take place? Competitive bidding, and then whoever bids the highest will get the lease for it. For how many years? For fixed 50 years. And grant of operating rights will be there without competitive bidding to a government or government company. Okay, here you can say it is very important for us to understand the difference. Here, private sector is being given routes through competitive bidding, the area where they want to mine. But operating rights will be given without competitive bidding to government or government company or a corporation in the mineral bearing areas reserved by the central government. This is a very good prelim statement that could be formed. So remember that. Then Forest Conservation Amendment Bill of 2023. It amends the Forest Conservation Act of 1980 and it exempts certain areas, and here the exemption is with respect to the strategic development of India, where it is sharing international borders. So if the government wants to establish road and railways connection, it can do so, given that it is situated within the 100 kilometers of international borders. Even non-strategic linear projects such as security-related infrastructure also would remain exempt. If the area of the forest land is to be diverted, it is restricted to 10 hectares. So there is, of course, a criteria for it. But in Naxal affected areas, the areas specifically with respect to Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, certain areas of Telangana, even you can say Maharashtra, certain areas of Tamil Nadu, certain areas of Kerala. So these are also having certain criteria. Projects which involve diversion of up to 5 hectares of land for defense related infrastructure or public utilities would no longer be covered under the Forest Conservation Act. But these states still have to carry out the compensatory afforestation which has been mandated by another law. Now, by lifting the restrictions on the cultivation of private forests, we are also growing towards making sure that our forest area increases, so that our commitment for 2070 to have net zero emissions and sequestering of carbon can increase. Also, we have to ensure that 1/3 of our area is under forest cover. So, that is also there. The bill adopts many features of the Mines and Minerals Act of 1957, such as the establishment of trust for mining affected person. If people are affected by mining, which they will be, to rehabilitate them also, a provision has been given, and encouraging exploration as well. More private sectors should come along. The Jan Vishwas Bill of 2023, which has amended 183 provisions of 42 acts and these are under 19 ministries. The aim is to reduce compliance burden on individuals and businesses. That is why Jan Vishwas. It will impact media, industry, trade, IT, copyright, motor vehicle and cinematograph as well. It will decriminalize certain minor offences. Those offences which do not harm the public or national interest, public interest or national security, and it is aimed to replace them with civil penalties and administrative actions, not criminal. Remember that. Moving on, it converts many fines into penalties so that the courts would not be necessary, it would not be necessary for the courts to administer punishment and remove imprisonment as a punishment for several offences. And all offences under the Post Office Act of 1898, they have been removed. It will promote the ease of doing business. Okay. A working group will be created now. It will consist of representatives from industry association, business chambers, legal profession, legal experts and representatives from 7 ministries. Such as other ministries are other organizations are also included, such as the National Housing Bank, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development and Central Pollution Control Board. And it has amended the Press and Registration of Books Act, the Boilers Act, Indian Forest Act, Drugs and Cosmetics Act. This is just to increase the ease of doing business. Then the Registration of Births and Deaths Bill 2023. What does it say? It allows the use of birth certificate as a single document for certain things such as admission to an educational institute, issuance of driving license, preparation of voter list, Aadhaar number, registration of marriages or appointment to a government job, and national and state level database will be created with this. Because certain people do not have any other source of identity, it could also be now used. So we will be able to at least know who our citizens are. Okay. The Mediation Bill 2023. Mediation is a process through which out of court settlements generally take place in an amicable manner and the courts do not intervene much. Because of the high burden on the district courts, high court, Supreme Court, it is much easy for any country to have a mediation as well. Mediation, proper mediation infrastructure as well. So it will promote and facilitate mediation, especially institutional ones, and resolution of disputes. It will be for commercial or otherwise, either for commercial or otherwise. It will enforce mediated settlement agreements. It will provide for a body for registering of mediators. So if you want any sort of mediator, through this body you can get one. And to make online mediation as acceptable and cost effective, specifically for matters connected therewith and incidental thereto. Incidental thereto, that means any parameter, any projection that comes along with the main matter. Nearly 70,000 cases are pending in the Supreme Court, 60 lakh in High Court and almost 4 crores in the district and subordinate courts. That is why it is important to do mediation, and India is no alien to mediation. Out of court, amicable settlement is, if it is taking place, then burdens will be reduced on different courts. Next is the Inter-Service Organization Bill of 2022, which is a step in the right direction if India has to establish theatre commands. It will empower the commander-in-chief and the officer-in-command of inter-service organization with all disciplinary and administrative powers. So this is the main thing, that the commander-in-chief and the head of the head of the inter-service organization, they will have disciplinary and administrative powers. So if they have to take any decision with related to personnel serving in attached to any organization, they can do so. It is an enabling bill. That means the 3 services, Army, Navy and Air Force, their acts will not change. They have their own acts. It is not going to change that act. But it is an enabling bill in order to make sure that all 3 services are able to be working in an integrated manner. This particular bill will enable it. It will enable, when enacted, it will empower the heads of inter-service organization to exercise all disciplinary and administrative powers as per the existing Services Act. So if the person who is belonging from Army, if disciplinary action has to take place against them, service related to the Army, through that, the head of the inter-service organization can do it. It will empower the central government to constitute the inter-service organization, and the heads of the existing inter-service organization, they presently do not have these powers. And that is why disciplinary or administrative actions against these personnel, they have to be referred to their respected services. And this is one of the most tedious and cost wasting thing. The strategic, it is not given in the bill, but there are certain inter-service organizations such as Strategic Forces Command, Andaman and Nicobar Command, joint training establishments such as the National Defence College. So heads of these kind of institutions will be able to take disciplinary and administrative action against the personnel which are related to Army, Air Force or Navy according to their acts. And that is why it is an enabling bill. It will ensure the maintenance of effective discipline in the inter-service establishment by their heads, and there is no requirement of referring personnel undergoing different disciplinary proceedings to their parent service. It will be resulting in faster disposal of cases. And strategic theaters, theaterization means specific areas are under such a command that is integrated in nature. Supposedly we talk about Northern Theatre Command, suppose it that. So Army, Air Force and Navy, the personnel of those will be put here and they will be under one command. And according to the Inter-Service Organization Bill, disciplinary or administrative action can be taken against them. They will not have to be referred to their parent service. So this is what it has to be done. And now the kind of war is also changing. That is why we need to upgrade ourselves. It is said that at least 3 commands will be there. One for Pakistan, one for China and another for coastal ones. But it could be 3 or 4. Right now we do not have a proper information about that. But a notification has to be brought out when theaterization has to take place. So this was the first class with respect to important bills. The next class will take place tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to the Telegram channel and ensure that you be present in the next class as well. Thank you so much for watching and stay updated.